Hello again. I've got several designs for balloon powered racers. This is the simplest one. You can watch me make it in another video in this series, and it's just made from a folded piece of plastic sheet called Corex, and you just need scissors and sellotape to assemble it, and I've done this regularly in primary schools with year 1 and 2 pupils. They do need a bit of help blowing up balloons, so I have to come along with balloon pumps. This design is a more complicated one that I do with year 5 and 6, and it's got a wooden chassis and a separate body made by cutting out and folding up an A4 net. Here are two more designs for balloon racers. They are available as a kit from my supply service, and the kit makes both designs. I'm afraid that I'm only able to supply UK based customers. So we're going to use this square section wood. This is 8mm by 8mm, and we need 3 pieces. We need 2 pieces 12 centimetres long and 1 piece 13 centimetres long. So I'm just going to cut this slightly longer piece up. Here I'm using a plastic bench hook and what I call a mini saw. You may call them junior hacksaws. A top tip with using these in primary schools for cutting wood: turn the blade round. It makes them much easier to use. If you buy them from me, I will have turned the blade round for you. So we're just going to cut this piece. There we are. And we're going to glue the 13 centimetre piece down the middle with the 2 12s at top and bottom to form that shape. You can use PVA glue. I'm going to use a glue gun for speed. I think I can do both ends at the same time here. If I'm fast, I should really have measured to find the centre, but I'm just going to judge it by eye. Slide it to stop it sticking to the table. There we are. And we've got our basic shape there. It's not really strong enough, so we're going to glue some card triangles onto each end to reinforce those joints. This is a very useful technique, very useful for building bridges, cranes and skyscrapers. So I'm going to put some glue along here. I think I can be ambitious and do both at the same time. It is low melt glue, so we haven't got a lot of time. There we are. Be extremely careful with your fingers. Even though it's called low melt glue, it still melts the glue at 100 degrees centigrade. And there we have our chassis taking shape now. We now need to glue some bearings that the axles are going to turn. Normally I'd use pieces of straight straw, but for this one we're going to use this metal rod, a welding rod for axles, and I'm going to run the axles in a strip of 3mm Corex. We've got some Corex, 3mm Corex, with the flutes running lengthwise. Just going to cut it in half, stick each half on, and then I'll cut it back to size. So I think once again I should be able to do both at the same time if I'm fast. And we'll stick that one on there and that one on there. We've just got a few seconds just to slide it into position. There we are. And now we're just going to cut those strips back, just leaving 1mm sticking out to stop the wheel from rubbing on the wooden chassis. Okay. Now we're going to fit the wheels. This is 2mm diameter welding rod. Pupils will need help cutting this, probably adult needed to cut this, and I use side cutters. When you're cutting, always aim the bit that you're cutting off down so it doesn't fly off into someone's eye. We'll just tap this onto the wheel. It's a perfect fit. Then slide it through one of the holes in the strips of Corex and tap the other wheel on. And because the welding rod is smooth, and because the Corex is smooth, the wheels do spin really well. Can you see them spinning so well? I'll just do the other one. I use this wheel system for my electric fan racers as well. I'll just give this a spin, you can see how well it turns. So we'll now pop the last wheel on. When you're hammering the wheels together, make sure there's a little gap. Don't force them up against the correct strip, otherwise there'll be too much friction. And you should have a rolling chassis that rolls really easily. If you've got one wheel sticking in the air a little bit, you can gently twist it to make it straight. Now for the first design, we're going to have a single balloon, and we're going to put the balloon in a piece of card. I've used Corex here. You could use thick card or cardboard. The size of the hole is important. This is 1 centimetre diameter. Bigger than that, the balloon will just drop out. Smaller than that, the air won't be able to rush out fast enough to create a big enough force to push the racer along. So we're just going to put some glue on here to glue this piece on. There we are. And we'll stick that on there, doesn't matter which end it goes, like that. You could stick a right angle triangle of Corex, a small triangle here, to reinforce it, but I don't think it really needs it. Pop the balloon in, this way round, and now we can blow it up. We don't have much of a test track here, but if I release it, you can see that's working quite well. Pupils could be encouraged to perhaps make some more holes, put different numbers of balloons in, and perhaps have a maths activity, and perhaps make a bar chart comparing the performance with different numbers of balloons. The second design uses exactly the same chassis as before, but we're now going to modify it so that it can take 2 balloons. We're going to stick 2 small pieces of wood to one end, it doesn't matter which end. These are about 4 centimetres long. And we're just going to pop these onto one end. If I can be ambitious and try and do both at the same time, there we are. And once again, we're going to reinforce that with some card triangles. I think these are a bit too big, so I'm just going to cut them back so that they will fit on without scraping against the wheels. There we are. So I'm just going to put some glue there and there. Let's try and do both at the same time. That's the first one. That's the second one. So can you see now we've got reinforced verticals there. Okay. And we're going to connect the balloons using these bendy straws. These are, I think they're 6mm diameter bendy straws. And we're going to make an adapter to make it easy to fit the balloon on from these wooden pulleys. You can get them from me and from other suppliers. My code is P130, and I've drilled them out quite carefully so that they should fit the straws really well. There we go, and it's pretty much an airtight fit. We'll just pop the other one on as well. And now I'm going to glue that onto the back of that upright there, and then I'm going to glue the straw back onto there. Can you see where that goes there? I'll take my fingers away. That's where it's going to go. I think I'll do these one at a time. Put some glue along here and at the back. There's the first one. Oh, I should have put some glue on top of the wood as well. Good idea to put some glue on top. There we are. That's that one done. And finally the second one. Put some glue on top and down here and at the back where the back of the straw touches the frame. Glue that into position. Taking great care not to get glue on your fingers. There we are. Can you see that? Okay, so now we can fit the balloons. These pulleys are perfect airtight fit for balloons. Quite tricky to get them on, but you only have to put them on once. There we are, there's one, and then the other one. And they're blown up via the straws. Quite easy to put your finger over the straw while you're blowing the other one up. There we are. And this one moves different. It moves more slowly, but it will travel possibly a longer distance. So I hope you enjoy making these designs for balloon powered racers. Thanks for watching.